Welcome to the course on IBM InfoSphere MDM Standard Edition. It is a self-paced learning course by IBM with no hands-on exercise. Now, the agenda for this course is to discuss the core concepts and terms, review the customer requirements, then configuring the InfoSphere MDM member model and algorithm, plus cleaning a data extract with cover, then deriving data and loading it into the hub, generating and validating weights, the bulk cross match records, and analyzing the thresholds, buckets, and entities, plus discussing the security options, and finally deploying the Initiate Inspector. Now, starting with the introduction to InfoSphere MDM Standard Edition project. Now, combining all the features of InfoSphere MDM, so it basically manages linkages between the merged records, and it creates complete, accurate real-time view of data, matches and links records based on probability of being the same. Then it manages the complete relationship between multiple data domains, verifying and enriching data quality by using third-party plugins, consolidating the records from multiple systems, reducing duplicate rates with data, integrating data silos into one ecosystem, and then finally assigning universal identifiers across the enterprise. Coming to the core concepts and terms, starting with master data, which is the core demographic data about people, organization, and products, and the common data stored and shared across multiple systems, and is the data used to support multiple critical business processes. There could be matching data or payload data, where matching data is the one used by the algorithm to search, match, and link records. And payload data, it's not used by algorithm, but it's just for along for the ride. About the master data management, which is the business capability that delivers a single, trusted, and complete version of critical data assets to applications, and that is to support the efficient operational business process and strategic decision making. Now, for different aspects of MDM, where there's entity resolution, customer data integration, data quality and data enrichment, the ETL functionality, PIM, data governance, delivering a united view of information, enterprise master person index. The IBM InfoSphere Master Data Service, it is generally called the hub, where many types of hubs have been deployed, including the multi-domain hubs, including patients, facilities, organizations, incidents, customer, citizens, locations, vehicles, providers, household suspects, and products. Now, the data, it is stored in disparate systems that operate autonomously, that is the registry style hubs. Now, index is created where the registries they collect data from multiple sources. Then the records they are linked into the entities, and the ownership of data it remains at the source level. Now, for the transactional style hub that writes and maintains a golden record in the hub that could be used to gather data from sources and synchronize sources by propagating the EID changes. For hybrid style bus that combines a mix of registry and transactional, where some of the resources they only send data into the hub to be included in the index, and the other sources they receive EID or data updates from the hub. Now, for the case of scoring data, considering if two records they match or not, where the matching algorithm is configured that focuses on the key data elements, and the hub is fed pair of records that are compared to each other, and an overall match score it is issued to show how well the records match. Plus, it based on the set of thresholds, the records are either linked together or put into a task. Now, for making a decision like link, ignore, or assign to a task, there's a threshold which is a number on scale. So, if the number is less than the CR threshold, the clerical review, then ignore it. link it if the auto-link threshold that is greater, or assign a task if it's between them. Now, taking the case of IBM InfoSphere Master Data Service, where matching and linking of records is considered the primary function. In the InfoSphere Master Data Service, it gathers data from multiple systems, analyzing the records to locate the ones that have got a higher probability of match. Then matching records are linked together to form a unified view of the information, and if there's a question about the match, then records are added to task. Now the hub supports the business goals. It could be for searching, viewing relationship, or populating the data. Now for the runtime engine, which is the master data engine, which executes business rules defined by algorithm, maintains referential integrity, and provides integration points via JVM wrapper. Now for the case of IBM Initiate Patient and Provider, where the patient is predefined member model, there's a patient-focused algorithm bundled with Inspector, standard HL7 integration, data load scripts, and rapid deployment tools. Whereas for provider, it includes predefined member model again. It has the same uh, algorithm, the inspector, standard HL7 integration. Difference being the provider ID validation plugin and the optional patient integration. What it does is rapidly connecting the physicians to Edge IE and the IDNs. Where the IBM InfoSphere MDM only manages the patient and provider data, integrating orders and results, referrals, registrations. It is compatible with practices that have electronic or paper-based records, thus providing IDNs greater insight to patient care history beyond the hospital walls. Then for the IBM Initiate Inspector, which is web-based, and it enables the data stewards, which would search for entities in member records, resolve tasks using drag-drop functionality. They would manage relationships and hierarchies with graphical interface. They would manage data by adding new records or performing updates to our attribute. Talking of the workbench for IBM MDM Standard Edition, there's user security management, the model configuration for data, algorithm configuration, extract, transform, and load data, and integration configuration. Now for InfoSphere MDM Standard Edition EID synchronization, with the outbound broker, it can be used to synchronize system for the case of linkages or unlinkages trigger an outbound message, and it sends EID downstream or source systems. This message can be included for updates to general attributes and can be synchronized data across multiple systems. Now for the standard edition master data extract, where you have the IBM InfoSphere, you extract, transform, then load the data in the warehouse. So it extracts the data, transforms it, and loads it into the end target. For the integrated tool, where you enable searching of the hub from closed system, replace the default search mechanism, and avoid creation of duplicate records. Talking of the Composer Toolkit, which is a rapid development tool providing ease to develop interface, creating robust application interface, and making custom dashboard. Now here is the SOA toolkit, which is reading the InfoSphere MDM member mode, creating configurable class names, and using simplified naming conventions. It builds SOAP web services and Java API. It uses ESOA packages to develop applications. Now for the general rules of implementation, where you have where implementation is iterative and usually 3 revisions are there. Many processes have dependencies. Database must be bootstrapped. The review customer data should be there before starting configuration. Algorithms must be configured. Then weights must be there before you start comparing or linking. The initial threshold, it must start with the initial threshold so that analysis data is generated, and the implementations are made up of microprocesses where sequencing of processes can be flexible. Now for the best practice for MDM, you use consistent capitalization when the naming of artifacts comes. Look for asterisk on workbench tabs. Check the workbench log files to ensure jobs are running properly. When you're using drop-down menus, scroll up to choose blank option. Avoid using spaces in the name of artifacts, and save early and often to check the problem tab for it. Now for the advanced edition, you can refer to the courses for training roadmap, this course description. And for best practices, you can go to this site.